Hey friends, welcome back to another cozy vlog and happy October. I'm sure a lot of you also echoed Anne's famous words with me when October first arrived. I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers. Each year, I look forward to carving pumpkins, picking up random leaves off the streets, reading dark academia novels and wandering at golden autumn sunsets. That being said, the start of October this year for me has been a slightly more difficult one in that I found myself feeling a little bit down, probably because we had such a wonderful spring and summer season in England this year and it suddenly became much gloomier and colder. It's actually quite ironic because I was really looking forward to the days getting darker, and so I almost felt guilty for not being able to enjoy the arrival of autumn more. I think this year I've almost been mourning the passing of each season. I've been appreciating how beautiful spring was when summer came around, and I've been reminiscing over how lovely this year's summer was now that autumn is here. And all of this is very likely a part of this quarter-life crisis that I've been going through. I don't know what God has planned for me in this particular stage of my life, and I feel like I'm in a bit of a maze at the moment where I'm not too sure of which direction to go in. But I do know that God's plans are good and they are so much greater than anything that I can conceive of. So this season of my life is really one of trusting in Him and letting go of my own expectations. So when the 1st of October came around, I decided to have a homebody day since I wasn't feeling too good and the weather was also very gloomy. So I started off by making myself this delicious cup of tea that my friend gifted me. It's a loose leaf black tea made up of French lemon verbena, is that how you say it? I'm not too sure, Moroccan roses, Croatian chamomile, as well as Italian bergamot oil. It smelled so good, and with my cup in hand I started reading Katabasis to kick off my autumn personal curriculum. By the way, I was so excited to have had such wonderful feedback from so many of you in last week's video. I'm really glad that a lot of you were able to resonate with me as I planned my personal curriculum, and I'll definitely be mentioning and possibly filming my journey as the weeks go by if you guys are interested in how my personal curriculum's been going. As of now, I'm just over 200 pages into Katabasis, meaning that I'm just shy of being 40% of the way through the book. It's a dark academia fantasy with a bit of romance in it, which I felt like was the perfect book to start on a dull October morning, and so far it's been a really intriguing read for me. I know that there are differing opinions about this book and I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll try to keep my thoughts concise in case you haven't read it yet. The premise is that two rival Cambridge students, Alice and Peter, undertake a dangerous journey to hell in order to save their professor's soul. Now, from the little that I've gathered, I think one of the main complaints that readers have is that there's quite a lot of academic jargon and intellectual info dumping that I think some people felt interrupted the narrative, and as I was reading the book, I could kind of understand where people's frustrations were coming from. I think it helped to some degree that I studied philosophy at uni, so a lot of it for me was about refreshing my memory, and instead what's been bothering me far more is that I'm struggling to love the main love interest, Peter. I know that what makes a large part of R.F. Kuang's books are her morally grey, sometimes insufferable characters, but to me, Peter is just reading kind of bland. However, I am really enjoying the book overall, and it's tickling my brain in a way that keeps piquing my interest, so I am excited to see where it goes. There's definitely been a lot of annotating and highlighting, and I even stuck a sticky note at the front for words that I didn't know or couldn't quite remember the definitions of. On the 3rd of October, Ian and I had to visit central London and we decided to pop by a Waterstones to browse for a little bit just before we hopped on a train back home. We didn't have very long to spend inside the bookshop, but I was really enamored by this new edition of The Poppy War that had been published. It was my first time seeing it in person and I loved flicking through the artwork. As you can tell, it's absolutely stunning, and yeah, I was very tempted to purchase a copy, but I felt that I should probably read the final book of the trilogy first. I don't know what your TBRs are looking like, but as of right now, I believe I have about 39 books on my TBR, which, to be fair, is a lot better than what it used to be in the past. I think at one point I had over 80 books, but my TBR has been at a bit of a standstill over the last couple of weeks because every time I manage to read a book and it goes lower, I end up buying another book, which obviously neutralizes the number again. So it's been a very slow process, but at least we're getting somewhere. Lately, I've been spending most of my evenings working on this book nook kit that was kindly sent to me by Cupey. In some of my recent videos, you may have seen me working on this book nook because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it took me months to complete this, and the team at Cupey were the most kind and understanding people because they kept reassuring me that I could take as long as I needed. But if you don't know already, Cupey are a DIY crafts company that specialise in magical book nook kits and doll houses. My favourite part, other than how dreamy it looks on my bookshelf, is that creating these kits encourages you to slow down and unwind. I spent many an evening listening to audiobooks or watching a movie or anime as I slowly crafted each miniature piece. So if you'd like to purchase your own, you can use my code ahyasartbang for 8% off your own kit, and I'll make sure to leave all the details in the description box below. And thank you again to Cupey for working with me and being so patient with me as well. During one of my homebody days, I was thinking about easy DIYs that I could accomplish to make the house seem more autumnal, and so I set about making my own orange garland. A tip that I discovered was to choose oranges that are ones you wouldn't necessarily want to eat. So the more tough and less juicy they are, the easier they'll be to dry. And then after slicing the oranges, you want to press an old towel or rag over them and try to absorb as much of the juice as possible. So a couple of days later, I threaded each individual orange slice onto a piece of thread using a needle. I did initially try to use some twine, but it was too thick even after splitting it in half, so I ended up using some cream-coloured thread instead. Since it's been chilly, it's been wonderful cooking lovely warm soups and stews, and because I'm Korean, I tend to cook a lot of Korean food. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Korean dishes, but a real comfort food of mine is kimchi jjigae, which is a classic. We didn't have very much kimchi left in the fridge, so I just dumped all that we had, and thankfully it was more than enough for the jjigae. I was born and raised in the UK, but because I grew up eating Korean food at home, it holds such a special place in my heart, and hence why it's my favourite cuisine to cook. Korean food always has side dishes that support the main meal, and one that I love making is aubergine with soy sauce, sesame oil and minced garlic. It's a really quick one that I just pop in the microwave, and voila, you have a delicious side dish. Once the rice was cooked, I was able to enjoy the meal whilst rewatching an episode of Culinary Class Wars with Ian, and it was a really lovely way to end the day. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this much shorter than usual vlog, but hopefully it was still cozy. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I hope you have the best week ahead. Sending you all my love and gratitude. Bye friends!